Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing stuffed bell peppers. Now you can use whatever color you want. I have a red and a green pepper here that I'm going to use. I have a pound of hamburger, 1 egg. I have probably a little over a quarter of a cup of ketchup and a quarter cup of brown sugar. A small diced onion. We have some instant rice, minced garlic, garlic powder, onion powder, and salt and pepper. I'll be cutting the tops of these peppers off, and there's a lot of good left on the cap of the pepper that I always cut up and use. We're going to take the insides of the pepper out. We'll feed that to the chickens. Get as much of the inside of the pepper out as you can. Now we got this one here pretty well cleaned out. I'll set that aside. I'm chopping this piece of the pepper that was left over from the top, and we're going to mix this into the hamburger mixture. We don't want to waste anything. There's a lot of pepper left on here that we tend to use most everything but the seeds and the innards. And I'll do the same with the red pepper. This mixture that I'm putting in these peppers is pretty much the same as I put in our meatloaf. You could add some cheese in with the hamburger. Do different things. We prefer the bell peppers over others. We like the sweetness out of the bell, but you could use, I don't know, other peppers. We don't use a lot of hot peppers, but you could stuff them, stuff hot peppers or whatnot, whatever you like. Okay, where I'm doing 2 peppers, I'm using a small baking dish here. But some peppers will stand up and some won't. You just have to, if they won't, lean them up against the corner so they'll stand. I'm now going to start the hamburger mixture. Like I said, this is a pound of hamburger. I'm going to shred this up a little bit. I'm going to rip this bread up into little pieces. This is my wife's homemade brown bread she just made this morning. You could use breadcrumbs also. I prefer using regular bread for this. Or you can use Ritz crackers or any kind of crackers you like, saltine. This is going to be a lot more mixture probably than the 2 peppers for the 2 peppers I have, but we can freeze this, or you could make it into a hamburger patty and fry it up. You could also make a small meatloaf if you prefer. We don't want to waste anything. Okay, I'm now adding my onions. And I get right in with my fingers and shred this all up, mix it up. Okay, we'll put pieces of peppers in. I'm not sure how many of these we'll need, but I'll put them all in. I'm going to add the rice in. I probably should have had a bigger dish for this, but we'll get it. Okay, I'm going to put our egg in. This is one of our farm fresh eggs. Make sure you get that all mixed in thoroughly before we add the sauce. My wife always says your hands are the best tools in the kitchen, so we might as well use them. Now I'm adding some of the tomato mixture. In this mixture I have ketchup, brown sugar, and I had forgotten to mention mustard, a little squirt of mustard. You mix that all up. The ketchup mixture helps give your meat a lot more flavor. Okay, I'm going to go over and stuff these peppers now. I'm packing this down in as pretty well as tight as I can get it to fill all the nooks and crannies in there. And these usually don't shrink when they are fully cooked, so. You could also use sausage in this instead of the hamburger, which would be something different if you wanted. If my dad were making these, he'd be using moose burger. He loves his wild game. We had a little bit of the mixture left over, so we're going to make a small meatloaf with this. Now this is just a little mini meatloaf pan. It won't make much, but it's something. You can throw this in the freezer, which we'll probably do, and heat it up for lunch someday. It's pretty much just a one-person meal, but it'll be good. I like meatloaf sandwiches, so it would be good for that, or whatever you prefer. I'm going to put the sauce on the top of these peppers now. I'm now going to add a little salt and pepper to these to give them a little extra taste. I'm just putting a little bit of this ketchup mixture on the top of the peppers. And on the top of the meatloaf. This isn't anything you have to do, but we prefer it this way. It does give it some flavor. I guess you could put on the topping whatever you want. Whatever you like. I'm now going to sprinkle a little bit of Parmesan cheese on the top. We don't most generally do this, but we're going to try it and see how it is. We will bake these peppers at 350 degrees until the meat mixture is 160 degrees, and they should be done. These are our peppers, and they're all finished cooking. You could serve these with mashed potatoes. We did cauliflower, mashed cauliflower with a little Parmesan on them, salt and pepper. A little butter also. You could serve these with a rice dish or most anything at all. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time.